Live now. So welcome everyone to all the listeners. This is your host once again from New Zealand World News, bringing you different people as a speakers, but also this is an election year. So what more than an opportunity to talk to the candidates who want to do good for our country. And today I have the pleasure to invite Dr. Carlos Cheung, who is from Mount Roskill, but also a National Party candidate in Mount Roskill in Auckland. So today we are going to uncover a lot of things from him in a few minutes. But let's get into the first introduction of who is Dr. Carlos Cheung, what does he do, and why has he chosen this beautiful serving the country. But also he is in a position today. Also, he is serving into his own business as well to the people. So he has got good background, I would say, to serve the people in a different way, but still serving is the key thing for him. So let's talk to Dr. Carlos. So welcome, Dr. Carlos, to this beautiful session of today that we are going to have an interaction with you. And thank you very much for taking the utmost pleasurable time, like very, very valuable time during this election time when you are quite busy, but chose to give us some time. So thank you. So let's get into it. So tell us something about what do you do and what sort of I know you're a doctorate with the PhD in biomedical science, I guess. So tell us something about yourself first, and then we'll dive into the visions.
Sure. Actually, thank you, Shailesh, for inviting me today to present myself and introduce myself to the audience. Just a little bit myself. I'm very similar to most of the people in my electorate. I'm actually an immigrant. So I come here as a teenager, studying Auckland Grammar in high school. And then I get my degree, bachelor degree, and then get my master and get my PhD doing specializing in diabetes and cardiovascular disease. I'll tell you something funny. You may think that I am one of the people who are very smart, study all the way up to reach my PhD, but actually I'm not. Well, one of my, at one point, I think my career would be a basketball player. So I actually train 7 days a week. I didn't actually spend much time to study in uni. So end up, I failed a few papers, and I need to do a little bit detour, and then to reach who I am now. So it's an interesting pathway. So I not only do academic, but I got business, but also have a little bit of sport in myself as well. So it's a very interesting package. So
how did you choose this? Like you got a multicolor, multi kind of talent, I can see, and it's not just academic, but also sporting physically, which is great. And plus getting into the health sector, which is the biomedical and all that. So that's something very interesting. So how did you choose this path? Is it something that you thought this will be a good platform for you to get into and make some impact, make some difference?
Yes, I guess surfing is always in my heart, in my blood. When I was young, I was a Boy Scout. So we always mentioned that, surfing people once daily. This is our slogan for Boy Scouts. So I think that actually go into my mind. So when I was going to university, said, what should I choose? What major should I do? So one thing I come up as, how can I help people? Obviously, being a scientist, especially major in medical degree or medical related degree, is something I can actually help people. So my project involves some drug development. So you think everything you do is actually helping people, contributing well, and make people's life better. So when I go to do business, I got a little bit more time to actually engage with different people in the community. And then actually how they struggle. Like, a lot of people struggle for living, food on table as well, or some, as a business person, you always got 1,000 of sleepless nights, say, oh, how my business going, a lot of worry, which people don't understand. But now, because of my pathway, I understand all of this. A lot of people will only see one side of the story, but because of my pathway, I end up able to see both sides.
Sure.
So I mean, especially in the past 7 years, got really want to commit in my community as well. So I'm doing a lot of community work in my electorate, like children career program, health seminar, vaccination camp, or set up a refugee learning center as well. Or recently, you see me involved in those helping volunteer work for flooding and cyclone as well. I guess when you are very heavily involved in the community, then you know that sometimes some of the problem can't be resolved at the ground level. Like you need to bring it to the next level, and hopefully you can resolve it. There's a say that it's better to teach someone how to fish than keep giving them fish. So I think after 7 years of serving at the ground level, it is the right time for me to step up to serve at another level. Yeah.
Right. Oh no, that's a good vision, that you have got multiple pockets and multiple things that really community needs, and today we need that. I'm really fascinated, Dr. Carlos. Basically, why is that? One is you are educated, you have got multi-talent, and then you chose to come into politics, which is great because politics needs educated people currently, where they have got a background or they have got some knowledge of the surroundings and everything around them, what's happening. So it's a good area to be into to make a difference. Politics is not just for educated or uneducated, but education can be qualified by experience, I always say, or qualified by your degrees and certificates. They all are experience, they all are qualification, basically, that you can.
You're completely right. This is why I believe that as a politician, you really have some life experience first. It's not only your education background, but you need life experience, because that actually change your mindset, how to see things as well. You need to actually experience it before you can make a change of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, coming back to that now, I wanted to talk about your visions for you to, for just because now you're joined a political party, which they have their own visions and you have your own visions. However, you come together to create those visions and make those visions a reality. What's your visions for the country, basically? Let's talk about, because this is all about is how we can build our nation rather than just build, and communities is the first step to build a nation. When you build your community, you build everything basically from there.
That's right. I think it's more like during my uni time, we start, getting more mature, getting a little bit more mature. So you start try to understand politics, and then you realize some of like how policy can actually affect you.
Correct.
It can change the whole direction of the country going, our lifestyle, how to go as well. So you start discussing whether I can actually make this policy better, or how can I benefit most people. Then you start thinking that this is the initiative, and then you come over say, okay, which party actually have a similar vision to myself?
Yeah.
I mean, just like Indian culture or Chinese culture, Asian culture, we always admire people who work hard should be get reward.
Reward.
Reward. So we believe that we want to work harder to provide a better life for our family. So when you look at this, you try to see which party have a similar concept, and then you're like, okay, for me, I think National Party have a very similar vision and value to me. So this is why I decided to stand for National Party as well. And I guess this is the reason. And then you try to think, okay, what can you do? Like, what's the country really needs right now? How can we shape our country better position? I guess that also the love of the country as well. As I say, I always tell people, being an MP is not superior than the others. We have our own role. Everyone have a very important role in our society. Just the pace, the location of working location is different, or we making different decision. But end of the day, I think everyone have an important part in this society, and we need to all work together to build a better nation.
Right. So tell me something about your area. Let's go into the Mount Roskill area where you are. What did you find something in during this time before you joined National, or before you wanted? What are the things you wanted to improve?
Mount Roskill is a very special area because I've been living here for 15 years. My wife lived here 30 years. Mount Roskill is my home. You know that our electorate is very diverse.
Absolutely.
Compared to other electric, we actually got 150 ethics group living in our electric. So you can see how complicated in our electric because different ethics group have different needs. And yeah, so it's important to understand them. So for a lot of us, we may, a basic thing is cost of living. As I say, we want to work hard to provide better for our family. So cost of living actually affecting people. And the second thing when I joined the door locking, a lot of people will say, I mean, I probably can realize myself as well, is the community safety. This is also my personal priority for my Roskill as well, because my Roskill have been making the headline of newspaper for the wrong reason. As you may have read, 2 weeks ago, my Roskill grammar school being locked down because someone was holding an air rifle outside the school. Or the month before, one of the dairy owner in Mount Albert Road being hit by the hammer. And then you keep forward. It's like every single month, there's something wrong. This is only some big things being mentioned by the newspaper. A lot of minor crime, like the car being stolen on the road or the window being smashed, this happen almost daily. I ask people, will you be safe to let your kids to walk to the bus stop to back home now at nighttime? Everyone will say no. Or if you ask yourself, were you willing to work a night shift job in our electric? Everyone will say no. I'm not working night shift because it's not safe. So obviously, for me in this area, my understanding this area is law and order is the most important thing. I think also the community safety. This is supposed to be the basic thing we can provide by people. But now look like it's a luxury request. This shouldn't be like this.
It should be our basic rights. I understand.
It's a basic right. It's for us. We come over this country because this country give us more opportunity. We feel more safe. This is a beautiful country. It's not like this now. People live in fear. So you can see the difference. So without a safe community, nothing can be done.
I agree. So cost of living, law and order, crime, and safety, that's one of your prime visions that you would like to make better.
That's right. And also, I mean, as a scientist or someone have been studying for till the mid-30s, education and health is something I look strongly as well. Because for us, we always seek for education. Because we believe that education actually can change our life. It can provide us a better life. This is our value. So what's happened now, the education is not actually preparing our kids for the future. They are just trying to make them feel good so they will attend the school. But in reality is, every one of us understand that our real life is very brutal. You need to face a lot of failures or stepping stone, stumble block as well. You need to learn how to handle this, how to learn from the mistake or stand up when you fail. Unfortunately, our school these days, they're not teaching that. So when our next generation come out, they are not only not knowledgeable, not ready, but also mentally is not ready as well. Like that is a problem why there's a lot of young kids come out to the workforce, and they start getting out of mental health because they don't realize in the real world they will face so much criticism or a lot of failures in their real life. But I guess that's part of the life. You just need to be strong, mentally strong for that. So I think this is part of the education we need to be changed as well. The system should be prepare them to face the real world.
So do you think the well-being of the kids is the most important when they are in the school and when they are at
I think you need to get a balance. It's just like when you have a kid, just like my daughter is 4.5 now. This one thing I will let her do is I will let her fall down. She need to learn how to walk and fall down and then stand up again. I can't protect her forever. But also you try to prevent her to get injury as well. So I think it's not only well-being, it's getting a balance, how to get the well-being plus mentally prepare for the future.
Absolutely.
So imagine if I just let my daughter let her fall, then what's happened? When she get older, I'm not by herself, by her side anymore. And she fall down and she just start crying and don't know how to stand up. I don't think this is the right thing for us to teach our next generation.
That's a good analogy, Carlos. That's a good analogy of putting out things in very right perspective for our kids when they are little. And when they are little, they don't know much. They are naive, innocent, but they are also very strong in trying new things. And we got to let them do that. That's a good analogy. I kind of agree with that kind of concept that yes, when they are little, that's the time when you give them those platforms for free living and free understanding of how to fall and how to wake up again, how to get up again, basically. Oh, that's good. So that's really awesome, Carlos. So that's for all the listeners as you are listening. Basically, Carlos does comes from a background of very well, as I said, he has got PhD and degrees and all sorts, certificate wise, but also life experience. He can see how he has put it very rightly by giving an example of his own daughter, and that's really amazing. So coming to the next, cost of living, which we are finding it very pinching. And you have any idea about the system that currently we are living in with regard to the cost of living? Is it something that you just manage it, or is it something that is drastically reformatively needs some changes when it comes to cost of living? Because prices are very high. They were not there before. So, but nothing has been done to curtail the price, or very little has been done to curtail those prices. But we are just giving people to manage those prices by giving some support. So that's again is your philosophy that you said before, that they are not prepared for these high prices. But the first and foremost, why these high prices have come up? Do you have any idea, like how do we make this transition into changes, drastic changes needed, not just band-aids, We need a
Yes.
reformative change.
I mean, there's one thing we always mention to people is, I think I'm not against paying tax, because this is our responsibility to contribute to our country, and our country do need the money to build the infrastructure. What we always complain about is how they spend our money.
Sure.
They should spend our money like their own money, all right, being well managed. You don't really to stop all the wasteful spending. It's just like, if I pay a lot of council rates, then I expect certain service to become out. Same thing. If you collect me fuel tax or road tax, I expect to have a better road condition when I'm driving on the road. But at the moment is, we know that in the past 5 years, all the money is being collected. Either they have been touched, or they have been wasted into some kind of consultants, or we don't even know where the money gone to, or some very unpractical idea, like cycling in Harbour Bridge, and then you rent a building and spend $1 million per day just to maintain the building. Like this is not what we want. So firstly, I think we need to have multiple directions to target cost of living. Yes, firstly, from ourselves, we need to stop wasteful spending. So this is from us, from the government. All right. And the second thing is, we need to deliver tax relief to people, so they actually have more money in their pocket, so they can spend more money. So when people have money to spend, the business will benefit. When the business owner benefit, they will pass it on to their employee as well. So you're forming a positive cycle. So you strengthen our economies. So it's getting bigger and bigger. Instead of you just keep putting a high tax bracket to punish people who are working hard. You just need to strengthen our economy, make our economy bigger. Your income will be bigger. And then return, you put your money to build all the infrastructure for our future, for the growth of our country. So I think that's very important. So really target multiple ways to make sure we can reduce the cost of living. Also, I think our party leader always say that we try to look into the interest rate, the OCR as well, make sure they focus on their own job as well. Because at the moment, I think one of the cost of living come from is the interest rate, the high interest rate.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because for myself, my mortgage actually last 2 years. And actually,
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry, you cut out there. Sorry. Yeah, what was you saying? The
so
interest rate?
firstly, like, so for me, my mortgage actually
Yeah,
gone double. So I
yeah,
don't actually have much money left. So
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So how so when no one actually can, have money to spend,
Mm.
how can you get your economic moving?
Absolutely. So coming to that and following up on that tax, which is really a very interesting point you said that people needs to have money in their pocket in this during tough times. And one of your policies that said that you are expecting these tax cuts to be given. And I have a question. Like
Yeah,
if you are expecting some money from the foreign buyers, which is your policy, that
yes,
you might happen, might not happen, but you still want to give the tax cut some or the other way by wasteful spending and all that you send, you
yeah.
can cut that and then you can still manage that. But I wanted to ask you a very simple, why can't we look at the countries that when recently your immigration policy was all related to the um, Canada and US and Australia, kind of mirroring that to some extent. Why can't the tax policies be mirrored to Australia, where they give first 18,000 no tax, there is a threshold? And I remember, like, even Labour or National, two major political parties haven't adopted that method. But Greens are saying we can do that by 10,000. But I personally feel what I want to ask you, why not simple tax structure where you can give tax back in the pockets by a threshold? Because in New Zealand, we have got lots of people who are earning less than 60,000 or 50,000, basically. And for this cost of living, if they get 10,000 or 20,000 or 15,000, first 15,000 no tax, well, don't you think it will be a good relief for them rather than waiting for money to come from somewhere and then give the tax cuts? What's your view on it, basically?
Well, first you mentioned a few things. Firstly, we're
Yeah,
talking about compared to Australia.
yeah,
Uh, it's a
yeah,
very good comparison because we're very similar. Um,
correct.
since the day I actually come out to work, we have
Yeah,
been compared to Australia all the time, talking about
yes,
job opportunity, wages, the
correct.
living costs as well. So
Yeah,
that's also something we're looking for. The reason why we can't actually copy them is because we don't have the same size of economics. They
absolutely.
so
Agree.
so when this is why we want to strengthen our economics, make sure it's big enough so we can
Mhm,
do a lot of, as I
mhm,
say, it's not
mhm.
about the percentage of tax we're going to take.
Yeah,
If your economy is bigger, even if you
mhm,
take less percentage, you will still
mhm.
end up with more higher numbers or high income. So
High
this is
income.
something we want to
Yes.
do as well to
Yeah,
strengthen our economics. This is the reason why. And the second part is you're
yeah.
talking about there's a very so a lot of
Mm,
people does say that
mm,
a lot of parties did actually look into it as well.
mm.
Um, but one thing but if you look back to our current tax system, I mean,
Yeah.
the lower income group, we're talking about 10.5%.
Mm,
Actually, it's not a lot of tax as well. And
mhm,
also, I think it's good to have some, like, people have the responsibility. They know that they contribute to the country as well. So
mm.
I, I can't actually answer that question, but for me is I think that this is why Nielsen, the beauty of it, we treat everyone equally. Everyone
Mm.
have a chance to contribute to our community and our country. It's not
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, certain people only gaining
yeah.
something in there. So
Mm.
you're not trying to create something unequal.
No, no. The only thing why I asked you is like because during these tough times, every political party or everybody wants to give some tax rebates, tax benefits.
Mm,
And in that real terms, I was trying to ask you that okay, why in this tough times, even though we know everybody has to pay their fair share of tax, so that and they are responsible for that, which is good, which is happening there for many years now, and we don't have a threshold of anything like other countries do have. So, but in terms of, that's why, since we are facing this crisis of cost of living and all sorts of high prices, and lower income people are not able to meet their expectations or desires, that's where I was trying to head
yes.
to ask you a question that is it possible for us to give that way a direct tax benefit rather than waiting for to give the tax
So
benefit.
I think this is why our policy actually try to, I mean, as I say, we keep want to strengthen our economics, but at the
Yes.
same time, we want our people, encourage our people to
Mm.
go to a better job as well, work harder
Yeah.
to earn a
Mm.
better income. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, we don't want everyone to stay in a low income group, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely not. Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
So this is why I think we kind of encourage them to move up so they can earn more money in their pocket. I think
Mm.
there's kind of an encouragement to them. Yeah.
I've got some interesting debates. I was watching the first debate and the second debate, and what I found, just and throw me some light on that and what your views are. When I listened as a common man, that I was trying to see which policy or who's better or who's not. It's not about that, but what are the policies, as you rightly said. Policies are the important, no matter which political party.
Yes.
Policies make and break the country.
Mm.
From that point of view, I was looking at the first debate, the second debate. I have found almost everything National and Labour are doing is quite similar to each other. Do
Mhm.
you think, throw some light on that? Do you think how different could be or how drastic change can happen if there is a change in the government? What do you think immediate changes can happen or not happen? Because the policies that you both have are quite similar, but also there is only the difference is Labor has got some policies which is going to be effective only after a certain period, whereas you want to do certain before and then after certain. So in that regard, throw some light that what difference will it make when if there is a change and if you guys come in the government, what sort of
I, I
drastic
guess
change for people's benefit, from people's
I
benefit.
guess the major difference between us and Labour Party is we
Mm.
actually know how to deliver our policy.
Mhm.
Like, one thing about policy is both sides will tell you something very appealing. Or,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you need to have some policy which benefit people. Otherwise, your policy
yeah,
won't come out at all. But
absolutely.
it's the important is how to actually deliver the project. I
Mhm.
mean, we always say our national party, for example, we always encourage public transport as well.
Mm, mm,
However, you look at Labour Party when they try
mm.
to set up a light rail in Mount Roskill,
Yeah,
they don't know
yeah.
how to deliver. They've been doing all the talking for 5 years now. I mean, almost
Mhm.
6 years, but not even a single section of the rail being built. So
Mhm.
this is something different. Like like Labour Party now they finally admit that there's a high crime rate in our country. So they
Mhm.
try to do a lot of things. They try to take serious against crime, but
Mm,
obviously the criminal doesn't take them seriously.
mm,
So
mhm.
they don't know how to deliver the project to achieve the goal. So that's why
Right.
they waste a lot of money. I think that's the major difference. Our policy is very practical, and we know how to deliver with them. I think that's the major difference between us and them.
Mm. The another thing which is following up that on that, you said, yes, as you said, like everybody can say, I can do this, I can do that, but it's how you implement and how you get the results, which is quite true. I wanted to touch on that with that regard. Like, will your national government or will any government who comes will have a challenge with regard to the constitutional changes, legislation changes, law changes, legal changes that needs before to implement certain things that you have got in place that you think will we need to implement. But to go through that process, you probably need some legal challenges or legislations or petitions that needs. Do you feel that your policies that you have designed so far will not have any problem with regard to the implementation point of view, that they will be quite easy to implement when you come or when you, if at all you come in the government?
Yes, I mean, we already know that there's a lot of challenge ahead of us if we're in government for next year, because we need to reverse a lot of
Yeah.
mismanagement or a lot of bad policy in place. Um,
Mhm.
so it's not going to be easy. So as we say, we try to prioritize a certain policy. Like in the
Mm,
100 days, we go to make sure our community
mm,
is safe.
mm,
We want to have a better education.
mm,
So we want to strengthen our economy as well. So there's a
mm,
lot of things we can do at the first 100 days. But
mhm,
something we already tell our supporter or everyone said it takes times. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 years to actually achieve everything. This is why our policy this year, you can see that is we won't give you a big changes from what's happened now. It's a small improvement from where we positioning ourselves now. So this is important because it's easy to talk. I can tell you everything can change, can be a better thing, but in reality, we all know that changes take time. So this is why our policy this year, everything is a minor step from who we are now. So this is why we can always deliver. So if you look at our, for example, you take the education policy, for example, teaching basic brain learning. Some people will say, hey, Carlos, 1 hour of reading, 1 hour of mathematics, or 1 hour of writing is very basic. Yes, I agree. This is why this policy is practical, because it's a small improvement from who we are now. So we need to have a small changes, step by step, to achieve what we want to be.
Sure. No, that's a good perspective and good insights, Carlos, from your policies point of view and from your implementation point of view, but also trying to make a difference and impact as quickly as possible with this crisis that we are going through at the current stages. So I wanted to take this final opportunity for you to give us a message about your policies, your visions. You said the crime, cost of living, safety, these are the key important, but also education, you said, and you touched on education as well, which is quite good. So to all the listeners, as you can see, these are all our prime importance to live our day-to-day life we need, and for our kids, for our family, for everyone. So in terms of your final message, what do you would like to say to all the listeners about how do you see yourself coming into this situation, but also just like you have, progressed, everybody progresses in their career with some of the other aspects of their life. But this political career of yours, or which is a community service career rather than political, I don't consider this is a politician. This is more like a community. And that's why I would like to ask you from that angle, what's your view and how do you make better communities and better for Mount Roskill, but also better for our nation as a country? Where do you like to see as a country grow in all aspects of what we are into today?
I mean, as a politician, although I'm not, a lot of people say I'm not, but as a politician,
I know. You are not. Yeah, that's why I said
yes, I guess the most important is you have the heart to serve. I think that's the most important.
Right.
As an EP, it's about serving the country, serving the people, and decide what is the best for them and what is the right direction. And I hope, and I can guarantee you, I can promise you, my heart will be always with the people. I will always there to serve you. This is why I want to be a politician. It's about serving. And hopefully I have the honor to serve people in Mount Roskill as the future local MP after 14th of October.
Right. That's a good way of looking at things, as serving is one of the key aspect of any politician or any service or community person who would like to serve the people and stand by the people, whatever times they had, good times, bad times, every time they should be there for them. So that's a final good message. Thank you very much, Carlos, for this beautiful interview, but also giving your perspectives, insights, and also your key message, final, which I loved it, is like serving the people and standing behind the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, as we say, as a democracy. And I take this opportunity once again to come on this channel that you have. And we will encourage you to come again to talk a little bit more on other issues that we can detailed about things, so that the voters and the listeners and people who have not voted, please make sure you vote, but also take this final message that Carlos is here to serve you. So take that message very strongly from all the listeners. And once again, your message to the voters to vote, Carlos. Please give us your message.
Definitely, it's to take Bruce for election and get New Zealand back on track.
Right.
and Carlos to bring my Roskill back on track.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on this New Zealand World News channel. I would love take this opportunity to thank you once again to become a speaker, but we will invite you once again and bother you for other things once we get on with.
No problem. It's my honor to be, come to talk to people. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's great. Any message for our viewers of New Zealand World News you would like to say?
Make sure you vote this year. It's important to make your voice being heard.
All right. Thank you so much. That's final message, listeners. Please take care and please vote. Please go and vote. There are still few days left. Days just go fast. 14th of October is the deadline, but don't wait until that. Please vote before that. My only thing is, please vote, because the vote that you are making is not for any just ticking any political party, but actually it's ticking for yourself. So when you take vote, that means you are voting for yourself and that you are making a difference to yourself. So that's my final message from my media, that please go and vote, exercise your right, and make sure don't fail in your exercising your rights, because you will be the loser, not the political parties or anyone, but you will be losing from a lot of benefits that each political party wants to do for our nation. With that, I take this opportunity to say goodbye to all the listeners, and we will bring back once again with another candidate, another person, another speaker. But also, Carlos, good luck for your win. And as you said, we wish you all the best.